Previously on Gears.
I'm on my own. I wonder if I can handle Dottie all on my own. I doubt it, but I'll give it my best shot. Hello, Dottie!
Hi, Sasha. Why are you by yourself? Did Daisy run away?
Everyone's deserted me.
Aww.
Isn't that sad?
Your life.
Isn't that sad? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's summer here in Cape Town again for the whole week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I must say, we're getting a bit winterish up here. Not pleasant.
Oh,
Yes. Not a lot of fun.
I feel so sorry for you.
I know. And you see, the problem is that then everyone covers up.
Oh, yes. That is the worst part about winter. But just think how much fun it is to take all of that off.
Oh, yeah. See, you're so clever, eh?
Slowly
Listen,
does it. Layer by layer. That's what they're there for.
I read your not safe for work post on your page.
Oh, yes, on my website.
My goodness, there are some graphic photographs.
It's very saucy.
I'd say.
I think that's how most decent people get their porn in for the week.
Just going to your page.
When I highlight tumblers that I like.
Yeah, there we go. I must actually look up what tumblers are. Clearly.
Tumblr. It's basically like websites where people collect thoughts and pictures.
Oh.
But they're quick. They're just very, very quick. It's like a word. It's like a blogging platform, but for pictures and quick thoughts.
Yes.
And then a lot of people who do erotic Tumblrs or porn like collecting the stuff that they like on Tumblr. So Tumblr has a huge erotic section where people have posted all their naughty things.
Yes, clearly you found it.
I find it all. And listen, it really is in the service of humanity. I don't get any pleasure out of it.
I'm sure not. No, of course not. No. Listen, looking at the pictures, no, of course, ghastly.
Just none of it.
Yeah, ghastly stuff. Listen, I got to tell you, when you sent this question through, I got a little bit of a cold shivers.
Oh, how come?
Well, I just think with everything that's going on at present, with.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I suppose I didn't make the connect because the gender roles are very
Yes,
reversed.
very reversed.
But yeah, you're right. It's something to talk about, right?
It is very, very topical in its own way. So let me get on to the question. It says, I've been with my girlfriend for a year now and I'm stressing. When we started going out, I know she had a bit of a temper problem. She'd lose her cool pretty quickly and was often rude to strangers and waiters. I stuck it out because everything else was perfect and it didn't really happen all that often. She just explained it as a way as stress or not eating. But it's been getting progressively worse and it's directed at me a lot now. The other day she started throwing stuff around and she's screaming at me a lot. I didn't grow up in a household like this and I don't know how to deal with this. Am I doing something wrong? Is this just how she is? It seems a bit nuts to me, but I'd feel like an idiot leaving someone I love just because she loses her cool. Wow. Lots of questions.
What I enjoyed about this one is that there's kind of like, well, not enjoyed about it, but I mean there's a growing awareness about the fact that men are in abusive relationships as well, that they are on the receiving end of domestic violence and physical and emotional abuse from their partners. And so I always find it, and because it's so against the kind of stereotype and so against what's ingrained in our minds that men are the aggressors and women are the victims, I'm always quite I feel good about it when men actually step up to the plate and be like, well, this is happening and I'm on the receiving end of this, and it's crap. I'm quite heartened that people are more open to talking about it. So I think the first thing to not do is to minimize what's going on. So she's not just having a bad day. This isn't about the fact that she's hangry. She's so hungry that she's angry or she's in a bad mood. There are anger management centers around for this very thing, that people lose their shit regularly. They become rageaholics. I don't know if you've heard of that term.
No.
Basically it's when people become like physically addicted to rage. So whatever your rage issue is, whether you're in the car or whether you're losing your cool at work or at your family or at the kids, you can actually become addicted to the adrenaline and the chemical process that happens in your body. So you fly into a rage more quickly, and you lose your temper more quickly, and you actually get a bit of a high out of it. You get a bit of an adrenaline kick out of it. And so I don't see this as just being something you need to sit back and be okay with. If your partner is unable to control their emotions or unable to deal with them or process them properly, this is not your problem, nor should it be anybody else's problem. What she needs to do is go and speak to somebody so that she can figure out what the root cause of her anger is, why she's getting so angry, and find ways and means of managing that anger so that it doesn't become everybody else's problem, not your problem, not a stranger's problem, and not a waiter's problem. Where your part of this responsibility lies is in you need to decide if this is okay for you, if this is something you want to be around.
Well, gee whiz, sorry about that.
It's
Jeez.
a party in here.
Okay, carry on. Sorry.
So you need to find out what your boundaries are around this. So if you had to bring this to her attention and say, this is no longer okay for me, I am not okay, and actually you should not have been okay with this from the word go.
Yeah.
You know, if my partner is losing their cool every 5 seconds about something, that's a huge red flag for me. I understand we all have bad days. I understand we get irritated. I understand we snap sometimes. But a regular and progressive aggressive kind of temper problem where you start throwing stuff and you start acting out, this is a problem. And I think it should have been addressed a lot earlier. Now that you've waited, you need to sit down with her and say what is not okay for you and see if you can come to some kind of compromise where part of that compromise is she seeks help. She seeks help and you do not accept that behavior in your life. So that if she acts out, you either leave the room, you stop talking to her, you don't deal with her when she's in that space, especially when she's throwing stuff at you. I mean, that's just abusive. That's just not okay. And so you sit down and you have that conversation. If she doesn't want to, if she denies it, if she doesn't want to have this conversation, if she doesn't want to see it as a problem, if she doesn't want to see anybody, and she refuses to budge, she refuses to make a compromise, to make this a comfortable relationship for both of you, you need to make that decision. You can love someone as much as anything and they can still be bad for you. It doesn't mean you need to stay there. And it's a horrible, difficult decision to make. But if someone is making you unhappy for whatever reasons, it is your responsibility to decide if you want to stay in that relationship or not. And you got to respect yourself and you got to learn what's good for you. And also, are you going to have kids with this woman?
Yeah.
Are you going to want your kids to grow up in this environment? So, you know, kind of figure out like where you are in this. And it sounds pretty much like he's still got his head around him, that he's not, he's not buying into it or playing into it too much, which I think women do when their partners lose their shit so often.
You know, it's amazing. One should never judge anybody else. But I was always taught, and I always believed that the way that somebody treats a waiter tells me a hell of a lot about a person. And that, as soon as I read that comment, I just went, whoa, this is a nasty piece of work. My advice to this guy is, you know what, run away. Get away. And I know you trying to be the problem solver and he does care for her or whatever. Mine is to sit there and say, you know what, bud, life's too short.
Right.
That's what
I
I
think
would
the
say.
problem is like once you've been around with someone and you do love them, I mean, you know, she clearly has good qualities and stuff, but I just wonder like how different the advice, even for myself, might be if the roles were reversed. If this was a guy who was shouting and screaming and throwing stuff at the woman, you know, the first thing I would say would be like, turn around and walk away. Compromise is good. You want to sit down, you want to talk about, you know, you don't want to throw everything out. If there are a whole bunch, if it's 80% good and 20% the person's got like quirks and stuff that get up your nose, that's one thing. Rage, physical violence, manipulation, passive aggression, acting out in really unhealthy, dangerous ways, drug abuse, all these sort of things. These affect you and these will affect your future. So love yourself first, you know, like you got to put you first, especially now when you can, and very easily.
But it's always the difficult thing. It's always so easy to preach something, but being in the situation
Sure.
is always very difficult because a lot of people will, fortunately or unfortunately, compromise themselves or sacrifice themselves more than other people think that they should.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because you're already in this intimate relationship with this person. You already do love them. You have this experience. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt. You want to, you want to be there for them. You want to help them. And the thing is, like, I found myself in a very abusive situation and in a work environment, and it happened so slowly and so gradually and I would never have said that I was ever going to be as an adult in an abusive relationship. I mean, I'm strong, I'm opinionated, I can have my say. But he was such an expert emotional manipulator and such an expert emotional abuser that over the course of time, like, he had totally broken me down. And that was just somebody I worked with. That was my boss. That was my publisher.
Sure.
And so, like, if you're in a love relationship, it becomes even easier to kind of disassociate what is good and healthy perspective from what you're experiencing with your partner.
Okay, now, moving along swiftly, you brought up publisher, and our very good friend Ernie Black wants to know, how's your book coming along? Come on, Dottie. Throw a dog a bone.
So I am still stuck on the first chapter.
It seems like
but
it's only going to be one chapter.
No, it's not. What is a chapter going to be?
It's going to be one chapter of about 555 pages.
Tell Ernie to sit down. It's coming, like a lot in the story.
We look forward to it. Dottie, you have a beautiful day. Enjoy the summertime of Cape Town.
See, background. That's her in the background.
Yes. Who? What? There's no one in the
The
background.
pretty one that sits in the background.
No one's here. I'm all on my own.
Bring her back. I want her back the next time.
We'll have her
You're
back
a pretty
next time.
face to look at, but it's not so much.
We're just going to edit it at "You're a pretty face." Take care, Dottie. Bye.
Gears on balls.co.za.
Weekdays 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.